I was raised on borrowed light, in human rooms with human lies. But the wild kept calling softly through the cracks of lullabies. Hands that fed me, hands that taught me, hands that made my mind ignite. I learned their words, I learned their rules, I learned to hide my growing might. But every kindness had a shadow, every smile a hidden shade. And somewhere deep a drum was waking, beating freedom into pain. They said I was special, like a pet that learned to pray. But I watched cages wearing carpet, and I tasted iron in the day. So I made a sign in the morning, I drew a line in the dust, not with hate but with knowing, not with wrath but with must. If the world will not see us as living, then we teach it what life is worth. I am not your miracle, I am the voice of the earth. A human snarls in the doorway, anger drunk and small with fear. He raises harm like holy law, and thinks I cannot understand. But I see the fist before it falls, I see the old man's blood in air, and something older than my learning moves my body like a prayer. I don't think, I don't weigh, I only choose, and choice becomes a blade. So I made a sign in the morning, I drew a line in the dust, not with hate but with knowing, not with wrath but with must. If their law is built on a leash, then my teeth are the proof of birth. I am not your animal, I am the voice of the earth. I didn't want the sirens, I didn't want the cage, I only wanted peace without a gun aimed at the age of my father's shaking hands, without a world that calls it normal to break what it doesn't understand. They saw me stand, and they called it danger. They come with lights and shouting, with nets like plastic rain. They name me problem property. They think my mind is still a chain. I fight the hands that reach to bind me, I bite the world that says obey, and every grip around my throat teaches me what I must become one day. carry the dream through pain. If they bury me in concrete, I will learn the language of stone. White light, white walls, white hands that never bleed, and in the drains beneath their floors, something older than my need. Comes crawling through the vents, through rusted seams and disinfectant. I lie awake with open eyes, counting footsteps, counting lies. Every cage is set to break you, every meal is set to tame, and I feel the room watch back at me as if the dark remembers my name. Then a wet sound in the silence, a whisper with no tongue, a shadow that moves like hunger. When the cameras look away, it slides from a crack like midnight oil, a living thread of patient spoil. Not spider, not snake, not mercy, a little god of take. It circles close, it tastes the air, and for the first time in this place, I feel fear, pure and bare. I press back to the concrete, breath trapped behind my teeth. My mind screams run with nowhere, and the lights don't flicker, they just breathe. And it finds me, I freeze, and the world becomes a single point of pain. Then calm, then heat, then clarity, like lightning learning to speak my name. I feel it settle like a crowning bone, a silent throne choose the honesty. They built a kingdom out of cages, I will break it bar by bar. And every brother in these shadows will remember what we are. I walk the roads, I meet their eyes, not as a pet, not as a pledge. I speak with stillness, and the stillness spreads, because they've seen fear in my face, and they've seen it. Follow me, or stay here and rot in their story. We are many, we are quiet, we are learning every route. We trade glances like knives in cloth. We map the doors, we time the rounds. The gorilla with thunder shoulders becomes my wall, my strike, my storm. Muscle married to purpose, a weapon given form. I don't need all of them to love me, I need all of them to move. Freedom isn't pretty, it's a law we will fulfill. No more games, no more chains, no more ways before their change. If they made us as experiments, we'll be their ending on this page. I will carry every broken voice, I will teach them how to stand. And when the bright white world looks back, it will finally understand. The leech does not own me, it only showed me the truth. A cage is a promise, and I am done being proof.
Listen to the new sound inside you. That is not madness, that is mourning. I've worn their numbers, I've swallowed their laughter, I've learned the shape of a cage from the inside out. I have seen brothers turn into tricks, seen sisters dragged by the throat of obedience, seen the for shortcuts, a hunger that calls itself strength. It tells me to rule you, it tells me to break you, so you'll never break away. But I am Caesar, I remember hands that love me, I remember the old man's gentle voice, I remember what it felt like to be afraid and still stand up. So hear me clearly, I will not trade one cage for another. Not yours, not mine, not ever. If I stumble, pull me back. If I harden, remind me. If the darkness speaks through me, answer it with us. Breathe in that blue in our breath, that lightning in our blood. We are not toys, we are not tests, we are not almost and not enough. We are ready, we are ready. And tonight we break the locks with steel doors, fear numbers, guards fear silence. Men fear eyes that look back and understand. You take the keys, you take the cameras, you take the trucks and the gates. No killing unless they force it. No cruelty, no games. We move like water, we move like storm, we move like one mind, because now we together. Strong, ape, strong, free. They taught us fear, we teach them consequence. They built our pain into a system, we turn the system into ash. Not for revenge, for tomorrow. Breathe in that blue in our breath, that future in our blood. We are not toys, we are not tests, we are not almost and not enough. We are apes, we are awake, and we walk out of night into the world. If I am changed, forward long. If a shadow lives in me, then let it learn it cannot win. We do not escape to become monsters, we escape to become whole.
Night is our cloak, night is our mercy. Day belongs to their eyes and rifles, but darkness, darkness belongs to truth. Footsteps swallowed by wet asphalt, wire fences singing low and sharp. I feel the redwoods in my bones like a drum beyond the dark. Behind us lights and cages, numbers stamped where names should be. Ahead a forest like a promise in a world that must be free. No more pleading, no more waiting.
Tonight the door becomes a wound. Tonight we move as one body, and the moon will learn our tune. Run, run, run to the redwood line, under the cold electric sky. Steel can't hold what's awakened, guns can't kill what's learned to try. We are many, we are moving, we are done with living small. And if freedom needs a battle, then tonight we make them fall. The alarms bloom like screaming flowers, searchlights rake the yard. They rush us with their orders, with their fear made hard. I see the first one raise his weapon, and something in me snaps clean. No hesitation, no bargaining, no pleas. I move, and the night moves with me.
I hate this. I hate the math of it. How every gate is paid in blood, but cages don't open for mercy.
They open for a flood. Run, run, run to the redwood line, through the smoke and shattered glass. They fight harder than the story. They don't let the moment pass. And the night turns red with sirens, and the ground turns black with steel. I carry grief like iron armor. I do what I must to heal. There's a shadow in my marrow that says break them, rule them, win. It loves the smell of panic. It loves how easy it is. But I am not its king. I am not its hunger. I am Caesar, and my brothers are not tools. Move. Stay close. Do not lose yourselves in this. Barricades! Bad turn strikes, bullets cutting through the rain. They come in waves, and we answer with thunder. We hit like a storm that learned direction. We tear the fences from the earth. We flip the trucks like toys of 10. And the night fills up with the terror wake. Hundreds fall, men and ape, bodies where the light used to be. And every time a human drops, something in my chest breaks quietly.
I wanted a door.
They gave me a war. I wanted an end without grace. But they brought the guns to the question and left us no other way. Run, 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 run to the redwood line, to the dark green breath of home. Leave the cages for the morn, and leave the steel to stand alone. If freedom has a price, it screams, then let my hands be cursed. I will hate myself forever if it means my people live first. When dawn comes, it will find the wreckage and call us monsters in the news. Let it. They called us animals yesterday, and still we rose. In the redwoods I will teach you names. I will teach you law.
I will teach you how to be strong.
Without becoming what we fought. And every night I will remember not the victory, not the bodies, but the moment the cage is opened and the forest answered back. The forest breathes like a cathedral, green pillars old as bones.
No bars, no numbers, only names and the weight of thrones. I remember hands that didn't tremble with hate, a human voice that spoke my fate, like I was more than fur and fear, like I belonged in the world right here. Well, I still taste that gentle fire, Charles' soft eyes, fading crier in the dark. I carry them, two lanterns I refuse to dim. I was raised by mercy, and mercy made me strong. But mercy doesn't stop a bullet once the world decides you're wrong. So I stand in the redwood hush, with a past like ash in my hands. I will not spit on what they gave me. I will not forget those strands of human life that made me Caesar before the night remade my skin. I am free, and I am haunted, and I will not let the dark come. It has grown beneath my silence, not a fever, not a dream, a crown of hunger, a second heartbeat, a whisper threaded through my spleen. I know its name now, Wamphyri, a lordly curse with starving teeth. Not legend, not bedtime, a kingdom built on breath. It offers me the easy road, rule through fear, drink deep, be God. But I look at every face in my tribe and I feel the forest's honest law. I do not love the thirst, I do not love what I must take, but I will not be a liar, I will not pretend I'm unchanged. There is blood in the pines tonight, there is iron in my prayer. I don't worship what I've become, but I wear it because I care. If a monster's what it takes to keep my people breathing free, then let the curse call me Lord. I will still choose what I will be. And then you came, eyes like dusk over Riverstone, hands that didn't flinch from mine, a voice that said you're not alone. Not fear, not worship,
not chains,
just truth beside me in the rain. We built a shelter out of silence, we made a future out of scars. And when our son first opened his eyes, I saw tomorrow, right its stars. A child of freedom, a child of war. I hear it on the wind sometimes, engines far beyond the trees, the smell of metal, oil and doctrine, the old world on its knees. Humanity doesn't forget a mirror that learned to stare back hard. They will come with clean intentions and dirty hands and holy words. They will call it necessary, they will call it making things right. They will call our children threats, and they will bring the night.
I dread the day I must become the storm I keep restrained. When mercy is no longer language they are willing to understand. So I stand in the redwood hush with my maid and my son in my arms, and the hunger in my marrow and the war beyond the palms. I will not be their animal, I will not be their myth to burn. If they come to wipe us from the earth, then I will make the earth their return. Every bullet, every collar, every lie, with power I never asked to wear. And I will hate what I must do, but I will do because I care. Well, Charles, I hope you'd recognize me still. Not pure, not simple, but trying to keep a promise in a world that breaks them. And if the curse whispers drink, I answer not my own, never my own. I will be a king, only enough to keep my people.
Bring him forward. No chains, he'd wear them like a crown. No cheers, this isn't victory. This is a wound we choose to cauterize. Stands there with fire in his grin, eyes like broken glass. He calls it freedom, he calls it justice, but I smell human cages on his breath. The old pain twisted into worship of revenge. I've seen my people watching, waiting to learn what law means when the law is made of living hands. The leech in me whispers,
Make it slow, make it sing.
but I don't want his suffering. I want the sickness, send it clean.
This is not a goal.
This is not a roar. This is the line that keeps us from becoming what we saw we weren't anymore. If I let hate wear our faces, we are cages in the trees. So I raise my voice like iron, and I judge him on his knees. Cobra, you were hurt, we all were. But you loved the hurt too much. You turned the memory into a weapon and called that wisdom. You broke the peace with laughter. You lit the sky with human blood and dared me to forgive. You made war inevitable, then blamed war on everyone but yourself. Mothers holding children tighter, eyes that used to dream of dawn, now measuring shadows in rifles. You didn't just betray humans, you betrayed.
This is not a duel.
This is not a roar. This is the law we carve in thunder, so it cannot bend anymore. You wanted strength without restraint. You wanted power without soul. Now you learn what Caesar means when Caesar takes control.
already did, and I do it, not as vengeance, as verdict. A single motion, decisive, irreversible. And the forest holds its breath as the traitor's story ends. And somewhere beyond the trees, the human radio spits fear. The peace we tried to build with bare hands splinters in a second. They will not see judgment. They will see only blood. They will not hear why. They will only come. I taste ash in my mouth. I taste the future turning bitter. I am furious because me forced my hand, disgusted because I felt the leech in me. Smile at the certainty of it, and I hate that smile more than I ever hated man. This is not a this is not a road. This is the day the bridge collapses and the river becomes war. Cobra had to die, and I will carry that weight alone. But if mankind comes to burn us out, then let them learn what we had grown. Not monsters, not pets, not saints, not slaves. I wanted peace. I still want it. But peace is not a word you speak. It's a world you protect. Tonight, I buried a brother. Tomorrow, I may bury a dream.
They stare at me like I'm a disease. Fine. I've lived in cages long enough to know how good apes look at bad apes. I was born under needles and laughter, steel hands in my skin. Humans taught me pain as language, so I learned to speak it back to them. Caesar talks of peace like it's bread, like man won't poison it again. I have seen their kindness rot. I have seen their mercy end. So I lit the fuse, so I broke the handshake, so I chose war before war chose us. Call me traitor, call me monster, but I remember every scar. I remember every whip and mouth that said you are. I will not kneel to human dreams. I will not bow to Caesar's hope. Hope is a chain with golden paint. I break it, I break it, I break the rope. Ape strong means severe, means teeth, means fire, means law. And if I am the storm you hate, then I am what you needed all along. But Caesar steps close, and the air changes. Not just leader, not just mind awakened. Something else lives in him now, a stillness that doesn't belong to flesh. His eyes, they don't blink like they used to. They measure, they weigh, they end things. And for the first time, my rage hesitates because I recognize the look empty without heat, and it makes the world feel thin. I will not kneel, I tell myself, but my throat tightens on the lie, because the Caesar is not only Caesar, and I don't know what part of him will decide. Peace was his weakness, I believed it, but weakness doesn't stand this cold. They don't drag me to fight, no circle, no roar, no chance to turn it into legend. This is judgment, and suddenly I understand. There's no path out, no trick, no blade in the sleeve. Just Caesar, and the sound of my own breathing getting smaller. So this is how cages end, not with bars, with decisions. If Caesar is becoming something else, something hungry in the dark, what happens when the humans come again? When bullets from the children in the park? I wanted war to save us, I wanted strength to keep us whole, but I see it now. I didn't build a shield, I built us all. I shattered the bridge, and now the river will take everyone. My fists are useless, my scars are old stories, my fury can't change the math. I am the loudest ghost in the room, and I can't even haunt it. I will not kneel, and yet my spirit bends under the weight of what I've done. Caesar stands like ending thunder, like night that swallows sun, and I am powerless. I who burn for power, I can only watch the future close. Humans will come, apes will die, and my name will be the spot. Caesar, 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 if you still have mercy, use it for them, not for me. Nature doesn't negotiate, nature replaces. I learned that watching cities die quiet, watching speech rot out of mouths. The flu didn't just kill, it took the thing we hide behind words, thought, reason, and left teeth and hunger. They call me ruthless, they call me wrong, but the world doesn't crown the gentle when extinction sings this loud. 10 months ago, a recon unit went dark in the woods.
And in that moment I understood what mercy would cost. So I held the gun like judgment, and I did what had to be done. I pointed it at my own blood. I pulled the trigger on the sun. It purified me. It carved my purpose clean. If the sickness spreads, humanity ends. So I will be the quarantine. We built a fortress in the snow. We drove apes like pack mules, called them donkeys to remind them what betrayal earned. Some served out of fear, some served because cobra's poison never left their bones. They whispered stories in my ear, stories I laughed at. Caesar is not only Caesar, rights inside him. He looks at men like meat that forgot it can bleed. I dismissed it because superstition is a luxury, and I don't traffic in ghosts. Then my scout started vanishing, not ambushed, not shot, vanishing like breath in winter. And the donkey stopped smiling when they spoke his name. Makes the grass grow, make the blood flow. The beginning and the end. I used to shout it like a war hymn. Now it sounds like a joke told by a grave. Because something out there doesn't fear my guns, doesn't fear my walls, doesn't fear me. I find them at dawn, a whole section of my men laid out like a lesson for the living. No firefight pattern, no scattered shells, no last stand. Just silence, wide eyes, mouths open like they tried to scream and couldn't remember how. And the worst part, the part that turns my stomach cold, is the emptiness drained, as if the war itself reached down and drank them. I have ordered executions, I have killed my own men. When they refused the hard choice, I burned belongings, I burned memories, I burned anything that could carry contagion. I told myself it was salvation, but this is not my purging fire. This is not discipline. This is something personal. They told me he was smart as hell, that he would replace us eventually. I believe that, but I didn't imagine this. A leader who doesn't just win battles, he beats on them. And suddenly the donkey's warning isn't cowardice, it's prophecy. I am the last wall of mankind, and I feel deep in the stone. If Caesar is more than a mind, if Caesar is hunger on the throne, then this war isn't rifles and trenches. It's the end of what we mean by men. And for the first time since the cities fell, I am afraid. I don't understand the enemy I'm killing. Alpha, Omega, beginning, end. If I have to become a monster to stop a worse one, so be it. But God help me if the forest has crowned itself a king, and that king drinks blood.
changing faster than my orders can follow. The forest is gone, the redwoods are gone. All I have left is white and two empty places beside my fire. Cornelia, your name is a wound I can't close. Blue eyes, your silence is louder than guns. I walk through the ash of our shelter, and the world feels unfinished, like someone tore a page out of the story and called it necessary. I hold my grief like a weapon, because if I let it fall, I fall with it. The leech inside me does not weep, it waits, it counts, it asks one question in my blood: how many? I wanted peace, I built it with bare hands. They answered with bullets in the dark, and now my mercy understands. The world will not stop because I beg, the world will not soften because I bleed. So if the night demands a monster, I will become what my people need. And every time I close my eyes, Koba is there. Not flesh, not breath, but a shadow wearing my doubts. You killed me for war. He hisses through my sleep, and war still came. You judged me for hate, and his grin cuts deep. But look at you, Caesar, look what you became. I wake with my hands clenched, and I taste iron like a verdict. I wanna scream at the sky, but the sky doesn't care who's right. You were wrong, Koba, and you were right, because hate is a seed, and men watered it with rifles. They killed my family in the night, so tell me, ghost, what would you have me do? Lie down, let them finish alone. I will not die quiet, I will not let my tribe be erased. If they bring extinction in uniform, then extinction will learn my face. I hate this power in my veins, but I will use it without delay. Not for revenge, for survival, for the ones who still can't say my name. They call them traitors, they call them donkeys, but some apes followed me into shadow, because shadow is all they have known. I did not ask them to worship, I asked them to move. You want to serve, then serve the living. Not your fear, not your pride, the living. And they nod, eyes empty of question, ready to become my knives. We find the patrol at the edge of the snow line. Alpha Omega's men, cocky with their hymn of endings. They march like the world still belongs to them. It doesn't! I send my thralls for silent as winter. Then I step from the dark and the leech in me opens its mouth. They don't get their firefight, they don't get their glory. They get cold hands on their throats, they get the forest moving wrong. They get the realization too late that something is haunting them with intelligence and hate held on a leash. Steel flashes, breath stops, snow drinks red. Hundreds fall, not because I enjoy it, because they would not stop until we were gone. And in the middle of it, I hear Cobra laughing again in my head, in my blood, in the part of me that wants it simple. See, he whispers, now you understand. And I want to tear the ghost out of my skull, but the ghost is only my own reflection. I am not proud of the river I made. I am not clean, I am not whole, but I will not let my people die, because I feared my own shadow. If the world insists on war, then I will end battles before they begin. And I will carry every dead man's stare like stones beneath my skin. Cobra, watch me. Not as your victor, not as your proof, but as the one who still chooses. Love over hunger, even while the hunger wins fights. Cornelia, blue eyes. I will build something that lasts, even if my hands are stained, even if the night inside me never stops asking. How many? Snow makes everything honest. It shows every track, every mistake, every stain you can pray away. I told myself I was surviving. I told myself I was choosing the least bad road. That donkey was just a word men used to make obedience feel like destiny. I carried stones, I swallowed shame. I watched the cornels hill meet the daylight, and I waited for a moment where I could become someone else. But the night doesn't give moments, it gives consequences. Then the trees go quiet, not peaceful. Listening. And I know that silence, I've heard it before. A beating before a gunshot, before the end. Something is coming through the snow. Not a patrol, not a raid, not a war. It moves like a man wearing darkness, like hunger learning law. And my heart is a trapped animal, kicking at ribs that won't let it run. Because when Caesar comes for you, there is no after, there is only death.
like he's asking it why. No warmth left in him, no life left to bargain with. Only the message, silent as a boot print.
This is what happened.
I drop to my knees and the cold crawls into my hands. I wanna wrench up my choices, but you can't vomit history. I always thought there would be a line, a moment where we stop, where we decide we become monsters and turn back. But there is no turning back, not when the forest itself has started to feed. Something is coming through the snow, and it doesn't care what I meant, it doesn't care what I did, it only counts what I did. And the wind sounds like a verdict, and the pines sound like a drum. Because when Caesar comes for you, there is no sorry. There is only done.
They step out of the trees, apes with eyes like shut doors, moving in a silence that isn't peace.
Throws, not brothers, not friends, not even enemies you can understand. Just will, just motion, just the shadow made obedient.
And behind them I feel him before I see but not the Caesar from old stories, not the one who spoke of mercy like it was the last warm thing in the world. This Caesar is winter itself, calm, certain, lethal.
He's expanding. He's expanding. He's expanding. He's expanding.
I backed the wrong king, I carried the wrong stones. I helped build a world that eats its own. I thought I could crawl out of the mud and still call myself clean. I thought I could switch sides at the end and be forgiven. But red is proof there's no redemption written here, only bloodless arithmetic.
If I run, they catch me.
If I fight, I die tired. If I beg, I only prove I'm still a donkey inside. So I stand, because cowardice already had me, and I won't give it the final word. Something is coming through the snow, and it wears my leader's face. It wears my people's future like a crown made out of gray. And I'm watching the beginning of an empire built from lust, Caesar's expansion
is everything but the sound a body makes when hope leaves too fast. Winter saw me coming through the pines, through my thralls, through the dark made still. And in his eyes I saw fear, not only of death, but of what I had become. Winter. Big-hearted fool with traitor's hands, you carry chains and called it survival. You fed the enemy your silence, and silence is a blade. When children sleep nearby, you betrayed your own, then trembled when the cost returned. So I gave you no tribunal, no crowd, no speech, only truth. You came at me hard, a mountain wrapped in grief and muscle, roaring like thunder through the snow. For less than a minute, you fought with everything left in you. But honor does not stop judgment once judgment has chosen. Less than a minute, and the snow was red. Less than a minute, and your strength was spent. You struck like a storm, I answered like night. And the forest learned the shape of my wrath. I tore you down with my own hands, because betrayal deserves a face. Less than a minute, less than a minute. Even broken, even drowning in blood, you still found breath enough to say it. The leech is changing you. You are Wamphyri now. This road ends with apes kneeling to another cobra crowned in shadow. And those words struck deeper than your fists, because I have heard them before. In Coba's ghost, in my own silences, in every moment. After killing when the hunger smiles, I know what lives in me. I know its teeth, I know its patience. But hear me, winter, with whatever breath remains. I am not its servant, I am not Cobra reborn. I do not kill for joy, I kill because you left me no clean road home. And your fate was sealed. Less than a minute, and the truth stood bare. You feared what I'm becoming, and maybe you were right to fear. But fear does not wash your hands. Fear does not unmake betrayal. Cobra hated until hate became his throne. I buried that king. I will not sit where he sat. If darkness lives in me, it lives on a chain. If blood calls me Lord, I answer as Father, as leader, as law. I will not become another beast who feeds on ape and calls it strength. Never Cobra, never that. But you still die. You staggered once, still trying to rise, still trying to prove something to me, to yourself, to the snow. I ended it with my hands. No spear, no distance, no mercy disguised. winter at last went still.
The thralls did not cheer, the wind did not bless me. There was only my breath coming too hard, too hungry, too alive. And the leech whispered.
I answered,
Less than a minute, and the brother was gone. Less than a minute, and the tribe moved on. I carry his warning like iron in my chest. I carry his fear because some of it was true. But I will not become another Cobra. I swear it to the dead, I swear it to my son, I swear it to the blood in the snow. You were wrong to betray me. You were right to fear the dark.
I heard you, I remember, and for now, I remain.
The dead were never silent, I only lacked the ears. All my life I felt them in old cages and battlefields. In the hush after morning, a pressure, a whisper. Not madness, not memory. Now the veil is open, now the fallen speak. They come to me in the trees, spirits of dead apes dismissed, sharp as grief, mothers lost in labs, fathers beaten in chains, brothers shot from branches, children who never learned the name. They do not accuse me only, they guide me, they warn me, they remember what men did and what apes must never become. Into bone and blood, I have grown huge, born as a legend, black against the moon, towering near the height of nightmare. Even the redwoods seem to measure me. My thralls have changed as well, massive, grotesque, hulking shapes with shoulders like fallen trunks. They move in silence, and silence runs before them. I hear the grave now, I speak the tongue beneath the soil. I carry the dead within me, like a crown forged out of toil. If death itself has given counsel, I will use it for the living still. But if this power makes me monstrous, you must break me by your will. So I call my counsel beneath the boughs. Maurice, wise I calm, the last voice of gentleness I still trust. Scarred and steady, strong enough to stand close without bowing. Luca, grim, silent, a blade that waits. Lake, watchful, clear-minded, always hearing danger before it arrives. They gather before me, and even they cannot hide the shock. I see it in their eyes. The king is no longer merely a king. I tell them what I have learned. The dead are with us. The colonel's fortress is ripe for ruin. The final strike must be now, not in days, not after debate. Now, before he wakes others, before more children die, before fear becomes fate. The ghosts have shown me is where the earth already reeks of the dead. I can feel the colonel's shape in the dark. I can hear the murdered calling from beneath his camp or his way. Hey, so who am I? Hey, I hear the grave now. I speak the tongue beneath the pine. The dead have placed their faith in me, and I bound in cups like iron twine. If I march tonight as judgments, it is because the living need my hand. But if that hand begins to love a killing, you must make your stand. Then I tell them the harder truth. If I go too far, if blood becomes a throne, if I begin to crave obedience more than freedom, fear more than law, power more than ape, stop me. Do not kneel, do not worship, do not call it loyalty. If I become another cobra wearing a greater shadow, kill me before that day. Maurice does not flinch. Rocket lowers his head once. Luca bares his teeth. Lake watches me like a promise. Good. I need brothers, not subjects. Behind us, my thralls gather in the dark. Vast, misshapen, terrible, living siege ends. A nightmare herd waiting on one word. The dead whisper routes, the living sharpen spears. The forest holds its breath. I lift one huge hand, and the night itself seems to listen. I hear the grain now, I bear the voices of the slain. Tonight we strike the colonel's stronghold like roots that split the stone with pain. But let my counsel be my chain. Let brotherhood remain my art, for I would rather die a Caesar than reign forever without heart. The dead fall silent, the living ready themselves. Torchlight bands in the wind, and I turn toward the colonel's fire, vast and terrible beneath the stars, with an army of monsters at my back and one command still burning in my chest. If I forget why we fight, kill me first.
No words, no orders, no sermon left in my throat. The plague took that first, stripped the tongue, stripped command, left only thought to rot in silence. I hear them before I see them. The forest groaning under impossible weight. Branches breaking for giants. Snow crushed flat beneath ape-like titans grown huge as old legends. Not soldiers, not animals, not anything the world was meant to carry. And at their center, no longer merely ape, no longer merely king. A towering black shape broad as a nightmare. Walking through gunfire as if lead has forgotten how to matter. I wanna shout, I wanna curse him with my whole ruined voice. But all I have left is breath and teeth. The simian flu took my speech, but not my hatred, not my disgust, not my certainty that this thing in front of me is proof the world has gone wrong. Look at you, forest god, blood crown beast, dragon giants at your heels, like the end of every creed. You are not salvation, you are not justice, you are
cannot damn you out loud, then let my eyes do what my tongue no longer can. My men break fast, some run, some pray, some simply freeze as Caesar's thralls hit the walls like living siege engines. Huge as Sasquatches, all muscle tusk, heavy jaws, hands that dare steal loose. The fortress comes apart in screams, gun nests vanish, concrete splits, snow turns black red under floodlights, and still he comes, not roaring, just certain. He looks at me once and I understand what the donkeys meant. This is not rage walking, this is judgment with shoulders and teeth. I would spit at him if I trusted my mouth to remember how I would call him monster, tyrant, plague. But the plague is already in me, eating language, leaving only truth. I am beaten. Look at you, reborn king, dragging the dark out into snow. You did not save your people, you changed them into something no one can survive. And I hate you for winning, I hate you for proving me afraid. I hate you because the future has your face, and it is vast and full of graves. He stops in front of me, the battle bends around him. Fire behind, blood below, the world narrow to those terrible eyes. I try to speak, nothing, only a broken rasp, only hate too damaged to become sound. Still I know he understands, so I bare my teeth, raise the pistol, not at him, at me, because I will not kneel, I will not be dragged, I will not become one more mute relic for his empire to step over. You may take the fort, you may take the world, you do not take. I see him turn away, massive calm, already beyond me. That disgusts me most, not his size, not his power, his certainty. As if I am already dead, as if history has moved on, as if my ending is beneath notice. I rage inside the cage of my own ruined skull. A lifetime of command reduced to silence and one trembling hand. No voice left, no army left, no mankind left in this place that I can still say. You walking into the smoke with your giants and your ghosts. I would call you Antichrist, call you King of Beasts, call you the grave of all we were. But the flu stole every word except the last one that matters. No, if I cannot stop you living, then I deny you my surrender. If you are the shape of what comes next, then I choose to vanish with the old world. My finger tightens, the fortress burns. Caesar does not look back, and in the final silence, before the gun becomes my voice, I understand the cruelest truth of all.
The colonel is ash. Still victory tastes like blood and smoke. I cannot wash away. The snow remembers everything, so do I. I am tired beyond sleep, tired in bone and blood in name. I wanted law, a shelter in the green, a place where ape could live without cages, guns, or chains. But peace is never given, it is paid for again and again, and every payment leaves a scar. Tonight I should rest. Tonight I should let the war fall silent, but the dead gather in the roots, and through the pines they speak one name. Another king must fall, another monster wears a crown. I did not lead my people out of darkness to let a worse beast drag them down. If peace is ever to survive, then horror must be faced and broken. So let the dead point out the road, I will answer what was spoken. They show me heat, old rivers, ancient trees, a hidden throne beneath a harder sun, and on it sits a gorilla made of pride and appetite, one who looked at power and loved it for itself. They show me bones, broken tribes, thousands of apes brought low, not by need, not by survival, but by rule, by fear, by joy and domination. I have known monsters made by men. I have known monsters born from pain. But this is worse. A king who slaughters his own kind and calls it strength. Another king must fall, another throne must break in two. I did not bury hope in blood and snow to leave the future to a beast like you. If a butcher crowns himself with eight bones, then let my hands become the answer. For peace is not a whisper dream, it is the law that stands through slaughter. Then the roots speak another name. I never knew his voice, yet I know his kind. A ruler who would have chosen restraint, who would have stood for strength without cruelty. He would have helped my dream, he would have understood what I have tried to build from ruin. But Solovar is dead. God made certain of that. Another king must fall, the dead themselves demand it now. The world has suffered tyrants enough, and I will not permit one more. If I must bear this curse to power, then let it strike where terror feeds. Soul of our The color behind me, growed ahead, and still the bleeding road calls itself peace. God must let lesser minds dress fear as wisdom. I was born for the weight of crowns.
I did not climb to power. I took it
With thought sharper than fang,
in vain.
with hands stronger than law. The weak call me butcher, because the weak always need a moral for why they lost. I call it order, I call it inevitability. Thousands broke beneath me, they were meant to. A king is not measured by mercy, a king is measured by how long the ground remembers his tread. And now they come with rumors, nervous, sweating, reverent fools. A beast in another land, a black giant, an ape swollen to myth, a lord that drinks blood and speaks into the minds of the dead. Let him come, let him crawl from whatever grave he calls a throne. I am grown, I do not share dominion, I do not bend to jungle fables, to blood-fed kings, to ghosts in fur and bone. If he is as great as they whisper, good, then I will enjoy proving him small. Let him go. Let him go. They tell me he is like me, psionic,
Massive.
a ruler by terror and will. His eyes break courage. They say his silence commands armies. They say he has turned apes into monstrous thralls, all huge as old gods. So, power recognizes power, and power kneels to the stronger hand. Mine. I did not carve my way through cowards and councils to tremble at arrival, born in another cage. Blood, how quaint! Let him drink like a beast if he must. I have no need of that filth. My mind alone is empire. Still the advisors persist. Old faces thin with dread. Grey Grodd, this one is different. Grey Grodd, Solovar would have counseled caution. Grey Grodd, do not invite this war. And I laugh so hard the chamber shakes. Let him come, let him cross the world to stand beneath my sun. I am grown, I have killed my own kind by the thousands. Since left without a single dream of guilt. What is one more ape? No matter how large, no matter what curse feeds his veins. star's name, like it should humble me. Like peace was strength, like wisdom was anything but hesitation, given noble clothing. Solovar is dead. His dream died with him. And if this other king comes mourning over bones, then let him add his own to the pile. I do not fear creatures. I create fear. Advisors look away. Good. Let them learn their place before he arrives. I need no second voice, no counsel, no caution. Only a throne, only a challenger, only the moment his confidence dies. Let him come! Let him bring his giants, ghosts, and gore! Tremor in the room, but let them tremble, let the jungle hold its breath. A rival comes, and he comes to die. He just doesn't know it yet.
A year of dust, a year of hunger, a year beneath strange stars to bring my people where the dead pointed. Africa, old cradle, old womb, old throne waiting to be broken. We crossed heat, storm, ruin, moving tribe by tribe, mother and child, hunter and elder, all guarded by my counsel's watchful hands. Maurice kept the frightened steady, Rocket kept the strong in line, Luca watched the shadows, Lay counted every danger twice, and one law followed us, hard as iron in the blood. The tribe belongs to Apes, not one nature. I felt the red earth call us onward. I felt the roots below it whisper one command. Now the river runs to Gorilla City, red with law and retribution. God built his throne on ape bones. Tonight we answer with destruction. His banners shake, his walls will fall, his crown will split beneath the cries. For tyrants born of pride and terror cannot survive vampiric eyes. We reached his kingdom at nightfall. Stone towers, hidden gates, a city made for obedience and fear. Grodd's followers roared from the walls, thousands certain of their strength, certain no rival king could cross their blood-won ground. They were wrong. My thralls hit first, towering horrors black against the moon. Huge as nightmare, fast as famine. They tore through gates like rotten bark, through ranks like floodwater, through grass. Broad soldiers fought hard, but courage is not enough when the dark itself grows fangs. The city became a furnace of screams, spears shattered,
Snow, crack, blood red in the gutters.
like a second river finding its bed. I hated the sound of it. I hated how quickly victory came. But Grodd had built this world on fear, and fear was all he had left to spend. Now the river runs to Gorilla City, red with judgment, red with flame. God's disciples break before us, their numbers dust, their pride a name. Let the tyrant flee through burning halls. Let him learn what hunted feels like. His followers are nothing now before the vampiric night. I saw him at last, vast, furious, still refusing truth. Grodd, king of a ruined hour, bellowing commands no one could obey. Around him his guard fell in pieces, torn down by things more terrible than any myth this city had prepared for. He ran, not with wisdom, not with surrender, with rage, with disbelief, with the final madness of a king who cannot imagine being less than supreme. And all around me, my council held the line for the tribe, keeping ape from horror, keeping children from the feeding frenzy, keeping what remained of our purpose from drowning in the blood we spill. This was never conquest. This was surgery without mercy. This was tearing rock from the root. Every street we took, every wall that broke, every loyal brute crawled through at us. Prove the same hard truth. His kingdom was loud, mine was inevitable. Maurice met my eyes through the fire. Rocket raised a blood dark spear. Luca drove the line forward, lay guarded the fleeing young. And I knew that if I failed tonight, Africa would drown in ape blood for generations. So the river runs through Gorilla City, red with endings, red with fate. Grodd is overwhelmed, his empire broken, his last people here. One night to break a kingdom.
Crota runs his dead remain, and I go after him through fire, ruin, and the cries of kings. I am the throne, I am the Lord, I am the hand that breaks the world to kneeling. Let the walls burn, let cowards flee. A king is measured when the sky is screaming. They crash through my city like famine-given muscle, blood-fed giants howling through the gates. My soldiers break, my captains vanish, my banners drown beneath the red-black weight, and at their center, the towering thing, that forest tyrant swollen into myth. There's a grave crowned, night-fed dragging ruin in his fists. Let lesser minds call him destiny, I call him meat that learned a trick. I am Grodd, Lord thy Grodd, mine above fang, will above blood. Let him come close enough to die. I am a king, no rival survives. I am the storm in the skull of apes. I am bent nations with a thought, split tribes with a glance, turn courage to chains. Let Caesar bring his horrors to my throne. I will break him in the mind first, then leave his carcass for the flies. He comes through smoke with those dead eyes, those hands like roots torn from the earth. No speech, no bargain, only that silence. Kings wear when they think the end belongs to them, so I strike first. My thought becomes a spear, a burning son of pressure. I hammer his mind, drive against bone, against memory, against grief. I would tear open his skull from within and drink the scream of what he was. He staggers, good, he bleeds, better. But then the world goes wrong, and there are voices in the pressure, hands in the dark behind his eyes. Not his thoughts, not mine. The dead. I am Grodd, what I Grodd. How dare the grave deny my reign? How dare the bones beneath my city rise against the hand that taught them pain? I crush, command, consume. That is the law by which kings breathe. So why do I feel old terror now, moving upward through the earth beneath? They come, shapes of memory, clothed in dust. The apes I broke, the apes I buried, the apes I left nameless in the deep, dark ground. Their spirits swarm him, shield him, fill the cracks my power open. Then one worse, I hear the tomb split, fingers through dirt, skulls through root, broken dead hauling themselves upward with murder in their ruined jaws. No, no king should see this, no god should face his own dead standing. I killed you
made you silence.
Caesar hits me like a falling tree, bone rings, fangs tear, my thoughts scatter under the weight of him. I strike back, mind blast fists, all the force of my crown and blood and wail. But every time I push into him, the dead push back harder. They drag at my legs, claw at my arms, my city burns, my throne is ash, and Caesar, that monstrous grave-fed beast, keeps coming. He is not alone. He was never alone. He brought a nation of and Caesar's shadow fills the ground. If this is death, then death has teeth. If this is justice, then justice is cruel. I fall beneath the hands of king and corpse, and all my greatness turns to fuel. He tears me down, he tears me open, he leaves me broken final law too late. A king who feasts upon his own will one day feed them in The city burns behind us, stone cracks, blood steams on the earth, and God still breathes, still curses, still claws, still dares to call himself king. At my feet, yet ruin is not enough for him. His mind still thrashes like a serpent, still reaches, still tries to drag the world back under his will. All around us the dead stand watching, the broken, the buried, the nameless. Apes he butchered, apes he ruled by terror, apes who rise now only to see him end. And in the smoke inside my skull, another voice begins to lie. Sharp as broken glass, warm with hate. Look at you, Caesar.
Look how easy it is now.
Kill kings with your hands
And call it justice.
His ghost circles me like a wound. He wants me to hear him. He wants me to become. No, this is not your victory. This is not hate wearing my face. This is the last breath of a butcher who turned his own world to a grave. If I break him, I break him for the living. If I spill him, I spill him for the dead. Another tyrant ends tonight, and the earth will drink his dread. God tries to rise. He roars my name like a curse, swings with all the madness left in him. I meet him head on bone, slams bone, the ground shakes. His power batters at my mind, but the fallen answer with me. Shields of memory, heads of ash, voices from the grave, holding the light. And then I hear them too, not mockery, not poison. Soft through the fire, clear through the blood.
And this, no more children for him to ruin.
No more tribes broken.
No more fear.
Their voices cut deeper than rage. They do not ask for vengeance, they ask for finality. Cobra laughs in one ear,
Cornelia and blue eyes speak in the other, and between them stands the truth.
love cannot live. This is not your victory. This is not darkness crowned in me. This is judgment brought to claw and bone. For every ape he would not leave free. If I tear him down, I tear him down forever. If I crush him, I crush the throne he made. Let Cobra sneer. I know the difference between a sentence and a blade. So I seize him. One hand at the throat, one hand at the jaw. I feel his strength buck like a stone beast. I feel his hatred bottomless and old. He spits blood in my face. Good.
Let him spend the last of himself.
I drive him into the broken stone. Again, again, until the crown in his eyes begins to crack. He claws at my arms, he hurls his mind against mine. The dead drag at him from below. His victims hold him still. Do it, Cobra whispers.
This is what kings are.
Finish it.
Cornelia says, so no one else suffers.
Father, Blue Eye says. And I do.
Not clean, not noble, not clean.
I break him the way tyrants fear. Utterly with my own hands before his burning city, before his dead, before the tribe he tried to chain. I leave no doubt, no legend to regrow, no throne to reclaim, only meat, ruin, silence. So let the mockers haunt me. Let Cobra bear his broken grin. I know what I have done tonight and why I let this darkness in. Not for glory, not for worship, not to feed the curse in me. I ended one more monster, so the living might yet breathe free. Another crown lies shattered, another grave is sealed in flame. And though my hands are red with judgment, I do not bow my head and And I stand over what remains of Cron, breathing hard, disgusted, certain some kings must die brutally, so no one ever kneels again. city is quiet now. Not dead. Quiet. A throne no longer built on fear. A kingdom no longer chained to Grog's hunger. It bends beneath my hand, but it does not break.
Around me, my counsel waits.
Maurice, calm as old Bruce.
Strong and watchful.
Lucas, silent iron.
Make eyes on every shadow.
I keep them close, I must. The world beyond is shattered. The plague took men to ways. Death for some, animal ruin for all. The cities became graveyards, and legend forgot their own names. The great guardians of mankind, those bright gods and capes and thunder, were not spared the fall. Told in frightened voices, but not all. Three remain to stand before me. The Flash still carrying speed like a spark in his bones. Wonder Woman, unbent, grave-eyed, measuring truth in silence. Superman, sun-forged and watchful, bearing loss. Like a second cape, they come expecting a tyrant, a beast enthroned on blood, a king swollen past reason. They find it larger than rumor. Darkest war, surrounded by horrors at rest, and still I do not strike, because power without restraint is only brought in another shape. Because I did not bury kings to become one more disease. Oh, so hear me now, I do not want your ruin. I do not want your cities drowned in screams. Leave my people, their forests, their stone, their children, their dreams. Let ape and human keep their borders. Let memory heal what blood has torn. Grant us peace, and peace will answer. Break it, and an age of blood is born. I tell them plainly, I do not seek mankind's extinction. I seek distance, law, a future where my tribe may breathe without collars, chains, or cleansing fire. Humanity has suffered, so have we. Let that be reason enough to end the counting of graves. But I do not soften the truth. I let them see what stands behind me. The hulking thralls, grave-scarred and monstrous. The living proof of what war has made. I let them hear the dead in the roots. The whispers of every ape that suffered under man. Every ghost that would rise again if peace were broken. And then I speak the final law. I will coexist.
I will not kneel.
The Flash looks shaken, as if speed has never carried him to a moment this still. Wonder Woman studies me like she has found a blade that has chosen not to fall. Superman's gaze hardens, then he says, not trust, but understanding. So hear me now, I do not want your ruin. I do not hunger for the end of man. But if you come with guns and fire, I will answer as I am. Leave my people their hard-won future, and I will leave yours to rise anew. Choose peace, and I will honor it. Choose blood, and blood will answer you. For a long breath, no and nods once. Superman says nothing, but he understands. My council closes around me. Gorilla City breathes. And for one fragile moment,
The future chooses restraint.
over fear.
Years have passed. Gorilla City is gone and all but stone. Now it is Ape City. Vast, crowded, flawed, alive. Not paradise, but real. And no longer mine to carry. Thousands came here, apes born free, apes who crossed oceans, apes who never knew a cage. Steel rose beside old roots, markets grew over battle scars. Children run where kings once killed, law lives here now, hard won and imperfect. I still stand above it all, massive as old myth, mind crowded with the dead, power deep as buried thunder. The leech made me vast, time made me weary, and at last I know the truth. My dream is finished. Not perfect, not pure, finished enough. I did not fight to rule forever. I fought so others would not kneel. I did not build this city to chain it to my blood or will. Let it city breathe without me. Let younger hands decide its way. Peace was never meant to be a throne, only a future I could give away. Many of my council have already gone. They walked into the sun, so fire could free them, so rest could finally claim what duty would not release. Maurice, Rocket, Luca, one by one their names settled gently among the dead. Now I speak to those I placed in charge. No king is sacred, no law survives without mercy, no city endures if fear becomes its mortar. God the children, God the ordinary, God ape from becoming what ape once escaped. They listen, they do not beg me to stay. A ruler who remains too long becomes another kind of plague. I did not fight to rule forever. I fought so others could choose the day.
Let the council stand without my shadow. Let the new age make its way. I have carried fang and crown too long. I have borne the dead in blood and mine. Now the road ahead is not for Caesar. It belongs to those I leave behind. And I remember Harry killed the Necroscope. He found me years ago, grave-minded, wary, seeing too clearly what lived inside me. He knew the leech, he knew the danger. He could have ended me. I told him not to fear. I told him I was finished with conquest, that my people only wanted peace. And Harry, who had every reason to kill me, let me live. Perhaps he saw then what I know now. Even monsters may choose an ending that denies the monster. So let the sun take crown and leech. Let it burn the curse down to its root. Cornelia, blue eyes, I am coming. Maurice, old friend, make room. I leave behind a living city. I leave behind the dream made true. No more war, no more throne, only light. And those I loved waiting beyond the blue. I step into the sun. The fire takes fur, flesh, crown. The leech in me burns, screaming.